sitting right here.
Welcome to WatchMojoUK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 celebrities who can't stand James Corden. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we'll be looking at popular figures from TV, music, the internet, and movies who have expressed some sort of distaste for this polarizing figure over the years. Stuart Lee.
I don't know James Corden personally, right, but he's always going on in interviews about how brilliant he thinks I am, right? And the feeling is not reciprocated.
Perhaps one of the first to call James Corden out on his behavior was the brilliant comic Stuart Lee. The sad part is James Corden has cited Lee as one of his biggest influences, but that didn't stop him from eviscerating him on stage whenever he had the chance. Lee has even famously compared Corden's appreciation for him as the following.
Imagine James Corden watching me. Like a dog listening to classical music.
Tweets from Corden suggest that he's well aware of Lee's opinions about him, but he still seems to be a fan nonetheless. It may all be an elaborate bit by Stuart Lee, but either way, he's not giving Corden the time of day. Liam Gallagher. Love it or hate it, Carpool Karaoke proved to be one of the biggest successes in late-night television. Corden has been joined by some of the biggest names in music, so it's no wonder people in the industry want to be featured too. But one person who doesn't is Liam Gallagher from Oasis. When asked if he wanted to take part by one news outlet, he responded with an emphatic no and called Corden a, quote, knobhead. However, Liam is one of the few people whose opinion on Corden has actually changed upon meeting him. He appeared on Corden's Late Late Show and sent a series of backtracking tweets about the host, but there's still no signs of him wanting to appear on the Carpool segment. Bill Maher. It appears as if Corden is leaving the USA because he's finding more and more Americans aren't too keen on him after all. One of the most vocal has to be Bill Maher, a rival talk show host.
Fat shaming doesn't need to end, it needs to make a comeback.
Maher isn't exactly the most liked of TV personalities, and he didn't make too many friends when he called for more people to fat shame those who are overweight. Corden used his platform in a positive way by having a long segment on his show where he fired back at Maher, listing some of the negative effects of his plea.
I don't think stuff like this is going to solve the obesity epidemic.
Though you'd expect Maher to kneel after this heartfelt speech, Maher didn't take it well. When on the Joe Rogan Experience, he recalled the events, saying Corden completely missed the point, and implied that Corden could have saved lives by not defending those who are overweight. Artie Lang. Stuart Lee isn't the only comic who has taken shots at Corden in the past. Back in 2016, comedian Artie Lang had a fiery interview in which he took shots at his former employer Howard Stern, and some of those closely linked to him. His remarks against Corden were particularly scathing. To quote him, he stated that, "When James Corden opens his fat f***ing mouth to do karaoke in a car, something that wouldn't be f***ing funny to the secretaries at an accounting firm, and gets an Emmy for it, I'm allowed to say he sucks. It's fair to say he's not quite a fan." Mel B. One of the more recent occurrences of a celeb slating Corden was from this former Spice Girl. Scary's comments about him were certainly spicy, even going as far as to name him the, quote, biggest dickhead in the industry. This opinion seemed to have been formed by how Corden has allegedly treated his own staff in the past, such as not knowing the names of his own camera crew. Mel B elaborated more on these shots at Corden when interviewed on The Big Nasty Show, but she didn't budge one bit.
We all work for the same thing, so you should always be nice.
I respect that. No more.
And he hasn't been very nice.
Mel B's biggest piece of advice for him: stay humble. Ricky Whittle. You may not know this, but Corden actually got his start in television through smaller roles on soaps such as Hollyoaks, where he played a bumbling janitor. When recalling his time on the show, his words weren't so kind, including saying that it was hell on earth, he'd rather die than return, and even implied that the talent had delusional opinions of their acting chops. American Gods star Ricky Whittle took particular issue with these shots at his former workplace, as he too got his start in Hollyoaks. He was so irate that he warned Corden that he'd better not bump into him and his co-workers on a night out. Loud and clear. Limmy.
So imagine you went there with somebody, and after it went like, I've got to say, he's really, really good.
If there was an award for the comedian who has taken the funniest shots at James Corden, Brian Limond would undoubtedly take home the gold. On both Twitter and his live Twitch streams, the Scottish BAFTA winner has frequently shared his opinions on the interview host.
F***ing hate when he does that. Hate when he does that shite, look.
A lot of the time, he's willing to give Corden the benefit of the doubt, but oftentimes, he can't hide his visible revulsion of Corden's apparent fakeness. And the audience always prods him for more. Rose McGowan. There's a time and a place for jokes, but perhaps James Corden didn't get that memo when he absolutely bombed at a charity event in 2017.
If you don't like that joke, you should probably leave now.
At the time, the hashtag #MeToo movement was at its peak, with many allegations coming out against Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey Weinstein has already asked tonight up to his hotel to give him a massage.
With this in mind, Corden made several ill-advised jokes at the charity do about him and his actions.
But he'll settle for whatever potted plant is closest. Oh, come on!
Prevalent voices in the Me Too movement, such as Asia Argento and Rose McGowan, took particular offense to this with a series of enraged tweets. They didn't pull any punches. Ricky Gervais. Gervais is undoubtedly a polarizing figure. Many of his remarks have gotten him in hot water with celebs and the public alike, but that's never stopped Corden from being a fan. Well, maybe too much of a fan.
That's like going into a town square, seeing a big notice board, and there's a notice, guitar lessons, and you go, but I don't want guitar lessons.
There's been instances of Corden, let's say, borrowing jokes from famous comedians like Noel Fielding and Ricky Gervais.
Guitar lessons available. Like, you don't get people in the town go, I don't want to play the guitar! I want to play the piano, you piece of
Gervais didn't stay quiet on Twitter after finding out and posted a now-deleted tweet. Though he eventually accepted Corden's apology, it was clear he wasn't entirely happy about it, as evident by some of the tweets he liked. Of course, this wasn't the only time Gervais took shots at Corden, commenting on the aforementioned Weinstein joke and also calling Corden a, quote, fat pussy at the Golden Globes in 2020. Matthew Horn. This one is the most surprising and probably hurts Corden the most. James Corden rose to prominence alongside his once best friend Matthew Horn in the series Gavin and Stacey. From there, the two collaborated numerous times for terrible TV series such as Horn and Corden and movies like Lesbian Vampire Killers. The two were quite simply inseparable, but their friendship took a nosedive.
What's the truth? What went wrong between you and Matt?
We never fell out. That was never what it was.
Many have speculated what caused the split, including suggestions that Corden's increased ego and pursuit of Hollywood success caused a rift between them. But one thing is for certain, Horn no longer wants Corden to be part of his life. Heartbreakingly, Horn was invited to speak about James Corden and reminisce about the good times for the show Piers Morgan's Life Stories, but refused.
And we asked him to take part in this programme.
Right.
And he chose not to.
I didn't know that.
The look on Corden's face says it all. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojoUK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.